For a while now, we weren't sure what to think of Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It seemed like a modest improvement over Sun and Moon with several new features, but not much more to really get us excited. Oh, how wrong we were. The Pokémon Company not only released a new story trailer in Japan, but a trailer that shows off how trainers can travel within Ultra Space in order to capture Ultra Beasts, both old and new. It's absolutely stuffed with information, so you know what that means. It's time to break out the old analysis machine to see what secrets and hidden details we can find. There's a lot to discover, so let's get right to it. We begin with Necrozma, ostensibly the central figure in all of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as more of the fight between it and either Solgaleo or Lunala is shown. While it's not a hugely choreographed fight, as most of it shows their energies clashing against one another above your trainer and Lily, it does show off the power of these Pokemon since merely crashing into the ground sends both kids flying away. As for which is which, it's pretty obvious that Necrozma is the Black Miasma, and the legendary, likely Lunala in this case, is the Blue Light. It's likely going to be an impressive scene, although the trainer still hasn't learned how to emote. He still turns his head to watch the battle with the same dopey grin plastered on his face. Lily shows much more concern though as she desperately reaches out towards what appears to be Necrozma, but it's apparent that this is during the process of it taking over either Solgaleo or Lunala. Once it achieves its new form, Necrozma lets out a massive roar which seems to create an ultra wormhole beneath it, showing that the Pokemon can freely travel to Ultra Space. This is likely the beginning of the chase to save the captured legendary. It certainly raises the stakes considering the player's connection with Solgaleo or Lunala at this point. But we also see a brand new scene with Hala as two beams of light streak across the sky. His mouth is moving as if he's talking, indicating that this is likely a cutscene. While we're not sure if this has a direct connection to Necrozma, the scene might be evidence of the effect of the Pokemon's new form on Alola. This could even be part of the scene from past trailers where either UB Assembly or UB Burst appeared before both Hala and Hau. Perhaps the other streak of light we see here is a more direct confrontation between the Ultra Beast and Tapu Koko. However, this would also mean the removal of the showdown with the Ultra Beast scene from the original Sun and Moon. Considering the changes to the plot that seem to be taking place, we wouldn't be surprised if this was the case. The final time we see Necrozma is in this new sequence where we see a place that closely resembles the Alolan Champion's chamber, except that it's obviously in Ultra Space. And thanks to the new trailers, we know that this tower is in the Ultra Megaopolis. We'll have more to say about this place soon, but let's focus on Necrozma for now. There's a walkway leading up to it with stairs in the center, directly in front of Duskmane Necrozma. But from what we can tell, it seems to be laying down while this yellow bubble of light surrounds it. We can even see the trainer nearby. What is the purpose of this bubble though? Is Necrozma trapped or is it building power in some way since we can see streaks of the same yellow light gathering toward it? We get a different view of this at the end of the trailer, further showing that Necrozma is indeed lying down. That's not a position of power, so either it drew in more light than it can handle, or perhaps this new team, known as the Ultra Recon Squad, is controlling it in some way and forcing Necrozma to gorge itself for their own purpose. We're not exactly sure of that explanation though, considering the trainer is simply able to walk past them. But there might be a reason for this as well, which we'll cover when we take a closer look at this squad. Interestingly, we think this scene is showing the aftermath of the confrontation, whatever form it may take. The light is dispersing all around the trainer, and he's even emoting, indicating that this is another cutscene. Lily is there too as the light falls into her hand. She seems calm too, which ties into our belief that, at this point, Necrozma's control over the legendary has been broken, and all the light that it had stolen is returning. The Ultra Wormhole probably leads back to Alola too, so naturally we can expect a happy ending. But what else do we really know about the Ultra Megaopolis? It seems to be the home of the Ultra Recon Squad and, thanks to the events with Necrozma, the final destination of this part of the story. It's even described as a place where Necrozma has stolen all the light, so maybe the Recon Squad is hunting it through the story? After all, brand new artwork in a very different style shows all 4 members here along with your trainer, but they don't seem confrontational. It's more that they're greeting him while he stares in awe at the massive Tower of Light, which leads to that platform from before. However, there doesn't seem to be that much to explore here. Looking at this path, there's not really many opportunities to break off in a new direction. Now it is wider where the trainer starts out, so maybe there are things to see around there, plus there are steps leading toward what could be a door. Perhaps it's some kind of shop, or maybe it's the base of the Recon Squad, revealing more about them. Otherwise though, the only choice the player has is to run toward the tower despite the presence of street signs. The tower itself consists of a long elevator that likely leads to this walkway that weaves around to the platform at the top, the final stretch before this big showdown. But before this stretch is indeed a new team known as the Ultra Recon Squad. Using the title of team though seems to be a bit of a misnomer, as there only appears to be these 4 members. And even then, only 2 of them will primarily be met over the course of each version of the game. However, all 4 are wearing the same kind of gear that likely protects them in Ultra Space. This keeps their faces hidden as well, with the exception of their mouths and hair. It shows us that their skin color is a chalky white that matches the gear. Is this an effect of living in Ultra Space, or from living in the Megaopolis where Necrozma stole all the light? We believe it's the latter based on the domains we see for the other Ultra Beasts. Dulce is a purple-haired guy who's matched up with a short girl with an orange braid, Zossie, and both are exclusive to Ultra Sun. We see them at Ether Paradise, where they're the ones to cut off Lily during her initial escape, rather than Ether Foundation employees. This would imply that the 2 organizations are working together, which works in many ways, as we'll soon see. We next see the 2 in a cave with the trainer and Nebby. It's almost like they found the troublesome Pokemon and are returning it based on the trainer's posture. Again, this doesn't seem to be a combative meeting. The more intriguing aspect of this encounter is how there seems to be a cut in the footage before Dulce tells Zossie to calm herself. It makes us wonder what kind of dialogue we're missing out on. All we know is that Dulce wants to confirm something which we believe has some kind of connection to Nebby. Considering how the plot of Sun and Moon goes, this again makes a lot of sense, though it doesn't make their goals any clearer. Although they don't seem outright confrontational in the few sequences we see them in, they can be battled, specifically Dulce, who only has 1 Pokemon. But being from Ultra Space as confirmed by the Pokemon website, he naturally uses an Ultra Beast, a brand new Pokemon known as UB Adhesive, at least for now. It's a poison type, but we'll go into greater detail on this Pokemon later in the analysis. More interesting at the moment is that it comes from a Beast Ball, and this battle takes place at Paniola Ranch. That's way before Faba develops these Pokeballs for use, and would indicate that the Ultra Recon Squad shared the technology with him so he could produce them in greater quantity. It's a great way of fleshing out this world. That's just the Ultra Recon Squad members for Ultra Sun though. In Ultra Moon, the members are the ones we've seen a bit more of, thanks to the story trailer. There's Fico, who has the mustache and beard, and Soliera, who keeps her hair to the side. Fico's quirk seems to be that he's always saluting, even returning to a salute after giving the Alola greeting. So they've been in Alola long enough to know its culture. This encounter takes place in a wooded area, indicating that they're met all over the region. This is basically confirmed in this scene where they seem to be met for the first time. We don't see Fico's name shown after all. What's interesting is that this is in Iki Town, which would indicate that they're introduced incredibly early. Fico even mentions something about aura readings, but it's not about a Pokemon. Instead, he ponders if it's coming from a kahuna, namely Hala. So maybe this takes place after your battle with him? Could aura readings be coming from the Z-Ring and Z-Moves? Or is there something else in play here? We think it's the former, as picking up these aura readings may be what encourages them to visit all the islands and see the kahunas. A big question we have about the Ultra Recon Squad though, is if the other members will be met in the opposite games in a smaller role. After all, the website does say that they play a central role in their games, which leaves at least a little wiggle room for all 4 members to show up in each game. It wouldn't be too much of a surprise if this wasn't the case though. The trailers already show that Soliera is battled as well and only has 1 Pokemon. Dulce and Zossie are met in Iki Town, and Fico and Soliera try to stop Lily in the opening scene. They're pretty much interchangeable depending on the version, though obviously they'll have very different personalities. That brings us to Ultra Space itself, which we can explore this time around thanks to a ride by either Solgaleo or Lunala. This would indicate that it cannot be explored until the post-game, since the cutscenes we've seen so far make it seem like Necrozma attacks the legendaries as soon as they appear. The trainer is also wearing a suit like the Recon Squad, which likely means that you work with them for this endeavor. If they're antagonists during the story, then they become allies by the end. Maybe defeating them in battle is what proves that you can handle Necrozma in the Ultra Megaopolis. And if they're always allies, then the decision to let you use this suit after helping them makes even more sense. Traveling through Ultra Space is more than just going through different Ultra wormholes though. After entering, the perspective changes to behind your back and gives full control to the player. However, we're still not sure of the exact purpose of the other elements within Ultra Space. Players are obviously supposed to fly through the rings, but what benefit do they grant? Are they necessary to build up enough power to travel through the Ultra wormholes? We see Lunala pass by one in the trailer, so either it didn't have enough energy, or it has to be hit dead center. Each wormhole also has its own color, which likely tells you which Ultra Beast domain you'll end up in. Again, it's just a question if stronger Ultra Beasts require you to fly through more rings in order to use the wormholes. That would also give purpose to these electrical balls that can be seen in the Japanese trailer. Hitting them might lower your energy and prevent you from accessing the area you want. We're obviously not positive about this, but it's our best guess based on the evidence. Then there's the Ultra Beasts themselves, and unfortunately, we still don't know how much of a role they have in the main story. They definitely appear outside of Ultra Space, with Xurkitree appearing near a wormhole. Maybe this is part of a scene showing how Necrozma is opening portals all across Alola? This was something that happened in the originals after all, but this seems to be on a grander scale as we see a Guzzlord appear in front of Nanu. It's a pretty significant encounter, as the previous games revealed that it was a Guzzlord that appeared 10 years before when Nanu was still part of the International Police. It was this incident that led to him and Looker discovering Annabelle. Whether Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon will raise this point is unknown and unlikely, but at the very least it seems like a purposeful choice. The Guzzlord also appears outside the Ruins of Abundance, which is where Tapu Bulu is located on Ula Ula Island, so maybe we'll see it battle in the same way as Tapu Koko. No other part of these trailers show more of this attack though. The rest instead focus on how you'll be able to visit the Ultra Beasts on their home turf. We first see Nihilego domain, which is the same area of Ultra Space that Lusamine escaped to in Sun and Moon. It's a nice bit of continuity and explains why Nihilego were the only Ultra Beasts there in the original game. This is just its territory. What we're not sure of is why your trainer takes a seat in this new scene. A Nihilego appears behind your trainer, which of course raises some concern. Perhaps this is how you attract one to you in order to battle? Next up is Xurkitree's domain, which is very different visually from Nihilego's. As we'll soon see, each Ultra Beast's territory matches their design aesthetic, so Xurkitree, being an electrical Pokemon, obviously has lightning storms all over. It looks like the player must chase it down too, as we see Xurkitree skipping along a different path towards a center area where the showdown will likely happen. But there's still danger as lightning strikes the path the trainer is on. We see the eventual showdown in the story trailer, and even more lightning can be seen in the distance before Xurkitree itself is struck, likely signifying the start of the battle or as an intimidation method. We then move on to the next area, which is a massive rainforest with a path stretching across a series of incredibly tall and strange looking trees. This eventually leads to a volcano, which we see a hint of on the right side. The volcano itself is where Buzzwole appears, ready to challenge you. Based on everything else, it's very likely that Buzzwole will remain exclusive to Ultra Sun while Pheromosa is in Ultra Moon. And we even see Pheromosa's domain in the Japanese trailer. It's filled with sand and strange rock formations, while pyramid-shaped dunes can be seen in the distance. Another scene from the Japanese trailer shows an area that appears similar to Buzzwole's domain, but we think it's someplace new. Based on all the rising gas that can be seen, this could be the habitat of Celesteela. After all, it's described as able to expel gas from its bamboo-like arms. While not the most solid of evidence, we think it fits better than any of the other remaining Ultra Beasts. The Japanese trailer even provides one final look at an Ultra Beast domain thanks to this new artwork. We can see the same area that many assumed was related to Kartana, and the comparison certainly works, meaning that this is probably its turf. But that creates a fascinating implication. So far, every Ultra Beast we've seen is reached by following a long, narrow path. It's very unlikely that random battles will occur, so it's all just lead up to this showdown with the Ultra Beast. However, the Kartana area could mean that we'll fight other trainers along the way. In previous footage, we pointed out NPCs lining the path toward that central area. It could be possible to battle them, meaning we'll meet more people that live in Ultra Space beyond the Ultra Recon Squad. It's unclear how it all works at the moment, but the prospect is absolutely exciting. That leaves us with our 3 new Ultra Beasts. First up is UB Adhesive, a poison type known as the Poison Pin Pokemon. According to the Pokemon website, its large head is filled with venom, which they fire from the poisonous needles on top. It also displays many emotions and is said to be able to understand human speech if it spends enough time together with them. Could it be possible that this is more than just flavor text? Will players actually have to raise their affection with Adhesive in order for it to listen to your commands in battle? After all, it is shown in Pokemon Refresh during the trailer, though this could simply be a coincidence. We next learn more about UB Burst. It's a dual fire and ghost Pokemon that tricks its targets into letting their guard down as it draws near with its funny gait that swings back and forth. Once it's close enough, Burst shocks them by blowing up its own head without warning. Before the opponent can recover, it steals their vitality, which it's said to use as a source of energy. The head itself seems made up of a collection of sparks that it can freely remove, hence the Fireworks Pokemon. Burst also has a brand new move called Mind Blown. This deals powerful fire damage at the cost of half of its maximum HP, making for a risky maneuver. Finally, there's UB Assembly, the Rampart Pokemon. It nearly weighs a ton at 1,807.8 pounds, but this still only makes it the 8th heaviest known Pokemon. And as we thought, each Stone Ion Assembly is actually a separate life form. They come together in order to protect one another and will glow red when enraged. Okay, we're almost done here, but there's still a few things worth pointing out. For one, Guzma returns, which isn't all that surprising, but he is shown talking to you at the altar of the sun or moon. Then there's a new short scene featuring Gladion and Hal, so they'll likely help in some way as well, although we're not sure where this takes place. Finally, we see Lusamine on the ground, which could indicate that her plans are interrupted by Necrozma in some way, or that she has some other role to play. We're not exactly sure. Still, there's no denying how exciting all of these new elements make Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Along with the new gameplay from previous trailers, we have a greater idea of how the story has been changed, along with new Pokemon to catch, and even the ability to explore Ultra Space. It won't be long until the game releases on November 17th, and we're certainly looking forward to it. Of course, if we missed anything, be sure to let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Pokemon and other things gaming.